Lewis Hamilton old coach makes strong F1 prediction which Verstappen and Vettel will hate. Hamilton wrapped up his 5th world title in Mexico last weekend with 2 races of the season to spare. The Brit has another 2 years on his contract with Mercedes and is the heavy favorite to defend his crown in 2019. However, Red Bull's Max Verstappen has matured substantially in the second half of the season and could launch his own championship charge with a new Honda engine. But Dino Chiesa, who coached Hamilton in his karting days, has predicted the 33-year-old will not be beaten over the next half a century. For me, he will beat the record of Michael Schumacher, Chiesa told Omnisport. He's in probably the best car, but at the moment he's so good and I don't see any driver that can beat him in speed, tactics, everything, for the next 5 years minimum. Then, probably, he can win the championship also when the car is not good enough to win the championship. Before he couldn't do this, now he can do this. I don't see any driver in the next 5 years that can beat him. Max Verstappen is quite good but not that special to win a championship. He can win one race, but to win a world championship you need a lot more things. I don't see him as good enough to beat Lewis, even if he jumped in the Mercedes car. For 50% of the championship Ferrari was even better than Mercedes, but, at the end, Lewis makes the difference. That is why it would be so difficult to beat him. Charles Leclerc is coming but he's too young. He needs a minimum of 3-4 years to be ready to win. I don't see anybody else can beat him, Hamilton. The gap compared to the others is a lot. Chiesa also highlighted how talented Hamilton was from such a young age. We knew from when he was 10 years old the talent he had, Chiesa added. Before he was probably too passionate. Sometimes he makes mistakes because he has that passion, he wants only to win and not finish second. For him it was all or nothing. Now he understands he can also reduce the gap or reduce the problem to try to take as many points as possible even if it's not the win. Related articles, Lewis Hamilton old coach makes strong F1 prediction which Verstappen and Vettel will hate. Hamilton and Rosberg had a famously bad relationship while teammates at Mercedes as they both battled for the world title. Rosberg came out on top before surprisingly retiring from the sport. Hamilton has since won the last 2 championships, taking his tally up to 5, which is the joint second in F1 history. But Lowe, who worked with Hamilton at both McLaren and Mercedes, believes the Brit learned an incredible amount from that disappointing season. I think he's driven 2 terrific seasons, said Lowe. 2 of his strongest seasons of all these last 2 years. The 2016 year was one he didn't win and he probably believes he could have won it, so that was a good motivation for him to understand how to strengthen his game. And we've seen that the last 2 years. Hamilton won his latest world title in Mexico last weekend, which takes the pressure off the last 2 races of the season. The 33-year-old's form after the summer break left Ferrari rival Sebastian Vettel in his wake. He's become a very difficult driver to beat, Lowe added. We've seen Sebastian has struggled to beat him this year. There have been losses in all sorts of different areas, but even just as a driver matching I think Lewis has outclassed Sebastian. That's been one of the mismatches. There have been other mismatches in terms of the teamwork. One team has performed better than the other team top to bottom. But on top of it all is Lewis, who's just a phenomenal driver.